One of the best times of the year, when you actually review books that you were highly expecting. Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katerina and welcome to my channel. And today, as per usual, when we get a new release of this fantastic author, I will be reviewing a manga by Junji Ito. Yes, welcome! Come join me and my playlist of Junji Ito reviews because I have many and I am dedicating my life to review all of the mangas that come out of this excellent horror master. So it's pretty much most of you already know because most of my following community comes from people that watch my manga reviews for Junji Ito. You might already know that his new manga came out and wow, is it a beauty. And so I finally have it in my hands and I'm finally able to do a review. I read it at the moment that it came to me, pretty much. And I am very excited to tell you that I did really enjoy it, which is not actually news for a Junji Ito manga. So I'm of course talking about Censor, which let's take a moment to enjoy this beautiful edition, which I'm very, very sad that you cannot see in its fullness in this video because my lighting is terrible. But it shines, it has the perfect spine. It's just gorgeous. And here, if you can see, it says, did she wander in or was she drawn in? It has, of course, to do with the topic of the manga. And I am going to take this off because this comes out and I will show you the naked hardback. This is perfection. First of all, I want to show you the dust jacket. So this is a part that I did show you. But on the inside, we have sort of a print. Can you see it all? Because wow, I mean, Viz Media, the Viz signature part of Viz Media just did the shit with this. This is beautiful. And then the naked hardback, which is very cosmic. And it's just like this. And we love it. So Censor, for those of you that haven't read or don't know what the premise of this is about this young girl. She arrives at this village where they have all of the village covered with angel hair, which has to do with volcanic releases and volcanic lava, and it's a beautiful bright blonde hair, and all of the village is covered with that, and she's called out to the village and she doesn't know why. And then an eruption happens, and she's apparently the sole survivor of the eruption. And then we follow the reporter that is intrigued by her case and is searching for her and trying to understand why she's the sole survivor and what actually happened. Involved in that, we also have another premise that has to do with cosmic horror. Junji Ito himself has stated in interviews that this manga was inspired by the topic of alien abductions and volcanic hairs, in a way, let's just say it. Normally they are very, very dark, but apparently there's phenomena that is called angel hair, which is very light. And of course it's supposed to be lava, so lava that encases, so very, very harsh. But in this case, it's not harsh hair. It's really flowy and gorgeous hair because we had to do some strange things with hair, as per usual, with Junji Ito doing strange things with body. So I want to leave the warning, of course, if you've never read Junji Ito and if you don't know what he's famous for, he's a horror mangaka and he does play a lot with body horror. So there's a lot of trigger warnings for deformities, gore, creepiness. So if you don't like horror and if you don't like body deformities, his manga is not for you. You should get out of here while you can. Well, not out of this video because I'm not going to show you those things, but you should get out of here of his mangas because it's not for you. However, if you love a good horror story that is actually enjoyable, that you can read and actually learn, because most of his mangas have, or I am of the opinion that they have, social criticism, and cosmic horror and other fun parts of horror, then you should stick around and read all of his mangas. I will leave linked up above the playlist of all of the reviews that I've done, of all of his mangas that I've read, which I think is pretty much all of his list of catalog mangas by now. And now let's talk about Censor. So I don't want to spoil the story of this, but as pretty much all of you must know, this has to do with cosmic horror. Of course, if the inspiration behind this was actually volcanic ash and volcanic hair and also alien abductions, it has to do with that. It also has to do with... this one has a little bit less, pretty much almost close to nothing of social criticism, but only fiction horror, and enjoyable fiction horror at that. However, it does have thematics, as pretty much all of Junji Ito's works, and in this case, the artwork reflects the thematic because the thematic is light and darkness and how these two forces coexist, and darkness is around the world, but light is always there and is that bright, shining glimmering of hope that you can actually destroy the darkness. Mixed with that, you also have some reflections about God and Christianity and other ways of belief and how those ways mix in together with light and darkness, which for some people might be a sensitive topic. I myself am not very happy with religionness in my horror novels. However, I understand that for this topic on itself, it was important to have this discussion, and I really enjoyed how Junji Ito reflect on what is supposed to be the meaning of life. And he has an interview, which I'm going to try and remember to leave link down below. If I don't, you can search for it, for the Comic-Con panel of 2021, which was online, and most of you probably saw it. And he has an interview in which he reflects a little bit about the topics in Censor, his new manga. And so you should really go and check that out because he's the author and he can tell you more about those topics than I can as a reviewer. However, I do have to say that for being cosmic horror and for having all of those types of things that are not as appealing to me as they normally are in Junji Ito's books and mangas, I really enjoy this one. As an unpopular opinion, I enjoy this one way more than I enjoy Romina. You might remember that I said that I liked Romina, but it wasn't the greatest Junji Ito manga that I've ever read. This one was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed it. Also, it bears saying that this is possibly the first case where Junji Ito just went straight out with a character plot by itself and not just his horror getting out of the way and forgetting that there's actually characters that should have development in the normal story. So for those of you that are not familiar with Junji Ito's artwork and writing of plots, he's normally not a character focus writer. He has characters, but it's always a little bit confusion which of his characters are like his main characters, his secondary characters. He has a lot of characters and sometimes he doesn't pay them as attention as he should. And what we are focused on is the horror and the plot points and the body gore and everything like that. In this case, the story and development of the characters, of the main characters, was more important than the actual blood and gore and dysmorphia scenes. And that's very strange, and it reflects a lot in his art because he uses light, heavier art style in this one in Censor than he normally uses in his other mangas, because he's normally very focused in the dark side and the horror side of things. And so his sort of pen usage and pencil usage, and I do believe digital art usage, I am not the person to be talking about digital art because I don't know anything about it, but as a reader of his works for a while now, I could sense that his art style was a little bit more light in a way. Not light in terms of content, but light in terms of the drawing style of the thing. So in here, he pushed himself to only use his shadow ways that he normally uses in all of the stories, just for the darkness side of the story. And for the light side of the story, which he wanted to pull through, he used a more lighter artwork, which is really intriguing, and it might reflect in a way his growing up as an artist. So I don't know, it's just the way that he went through a complete different path that he normally goes, forgetting completely of the actual need of focusing on creepy characters and on a creepy plot, but instead following a semi-cohesive story, which he normally never does. Even when he has a cohesive story, he jumps around sometimes. It was just brilliant to see. I think he's growing up as an artist with all of his fans, all of his work, all of the things that he's learned throughout the years. And this is what he wanted to do. He wanted it to be different. And he was, and you can tell it. But it's not a bad difference. Sometimes when authors and designers and creators go out of their way and they are different, sometimes it leaves a strange taste in your mouth. It's like, why are you doing this if you are good at what you do? Why are you doing it differently? But in this case, I really enjoyed it. And I was like, well, that's great. You're doing it differently and it's going great. You are proving again that you're a great artist, a great creator, because you went completely the other way and it was a success. I mean, I really loved it. I think that Censor was a pretty cool in-between sort of manga from where Junji Ito was and what he can potentially do from now on. He does stated that he's been missing some of his ideas, he doesn't know what he's gonna do from now on, but I still have faith that we can expect different but at the same time amazing works for him. So this is my review on Censor. Of course, it's very, very small and it's not specific because I don't want to spoil you, but I think that I've said everything that I needed to say, and I would really like to converse with you about this. Have you read Censor already? If you're in America, you'll probably have, because I'm in Portugal and I have to wait that they translate the Japanese edition to America or to English, and then I have to wait for the English version to come to me in Portugal. So you probably already read this before I did, but if you did you love it? What do you think? Was it your favorite Junji Ito? Was it not? Did you not enjoy the differences in art and plot and characters? Did you? Tell me something in the comments down below. So that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye! And he's just... my wrist.